So now our second contestant. Could you please welcome Aimee Jones?
So good evening to my presentation about the event innovation competition. So I'd like to take you through the process in which I kind of created it and thought about it. So the idea behind it was to obviously create an innovative ice-breaking activity for a conference or an exhibition. And the way that I kind of thought of it was it has to involve people, it has to kind of have really good benefits. So I kind of want to take you through the benefits of that and what it does for maybe the delegate or the guest, as well as the host company. So this evening, I'd like to introduce you to the Juicicle. So the idea of it is that it's a bike on a stand, which can either have a food vendor attached to the front or the back. So you might know these are smoothie bikes. It's really good fun, and you can obviously have sweet or savoury ingredients which you would put into the smoothie maker, and then obviously you're using that person to then pedal the bike to power it. So it's very kind of interactive, and it gets everyone involved. So it's really team building, and also it can be an individual activity. So obviously there are really good benefits of the Juicicle, and these can be categorised into 3 areas. So you've got CSR, sustainability, and social inclusion. So in today's society, businesses have a huge impact on the environment, and they obviously create green and ethical policies. So with looking at their green and ethical policies, they might want to run this through an event. So they might want to say that everything has to be, instead of having plastic, they want wooden knives and forks, for example. So it's really good in the state of the Juicicle is obviously you're using fresh ingredients, you're not using anything in plastic cups and like that sort of concept. In terms of people, you're not only are you promoting a healthy lifestyle, but you're also promoting a healthy activity within a workplace, which is really good. And people often think that they might have as part of their policies within their companies that they'll offer a gym membership. Well, that's great if people actually use them, but why not try and enhance that and use that sort of activity within the workplace, and almost not to force people, but to encourage them to do something that is a bit different, that they might not think is actually, I'm just sat on a bike or I'm going to a spinning class. They're kind of creating something, they're creating a reward for themselves, and they're also using this team building kind of activity to look at how they work with their work colleagues, how it draws people in. And for example, in exhibitions, you might be somebody that's just walking by, and you might think, well, what's that? I went to an exhibition and someone had a Dalek on a stand, and instantly there was just hordes of people at the stand. So you get that instant crowd puller, and it's really, obviously that's a massive benefit for A, the company, and B, the people that are, they're either promoting or whatever they're doing at that exhibition. In the conference scenario, you've obviously got the whole idea of conferences. Some people might think, well, it's just a bit boring, I just sat there, I listened. Well, why not make it fun and make that a memorable experience for that person or the companies that were invited to come back and say, well, I went to this amazing conference, it had this completely different idea, and actually it works really well, and they then will adapt that into obviously any more conferences that they do. So another benefit of the Juicicle is the sustainable resources that it kind of incorporates. So in terms of nutrition and ingredients, if you're using things like locally sourced produce, or you're even using fair trade bananas, for example, that's great, and it really works within their CSR policies, and that's a really good pusher for anybody looking at that event, saying actually that really does apply to what the company's trying to put across. Again, pedal power, as I mentioned before, it is literally your 2 little feet on your 2 pedals, pedaling away. So there's no fossil fuels involved. So again, it's great for carbon footprint. Social inclusion, as I said, it can either be team or individual, which is obviously great. If you want to be individual and you're really competitive, then that's fine. You get away, you cycle on that bike and you create your reward, or you use the active and engaging activity within a team that maybe you compete against each other, and then obviously you receive that one reward afterwards. So as we all know, you do get your innocent smoothies or your ones from Sainsbury's, but that's pretty boring. So they are based on yogurt, ice cream and fruit, which is okay, fine, most people like them, they go to the boost bars and things like that. But I've tried to kind of look at what's a bit different and why would that attract someone to maybe to make these. Either are they crazy, are they wacky, are they different ideas. So for example, the breakfast blast, this is based on tomato juice, but it's then got Worcester sauce and Tabasco in it, and then if you really wanted to kind of make it a bit more your own and unique, you could add porcini powder and even put quail's egg on top to kind of finish it off. So you've got this concept of, yeah, fine, you're getting on a bike, but you're actually also, you're doing something slightly different. And then if you've had a look through the recipe book, you'll see that there are different recipes, and you might think savoury really as a smoothie, what's it actually going to look like? Okay, it might not look as aesthetically pleasing as a banana smoothie, but the idea of having savoury ones is quite cool in the fact that somebody might go home and say, well, actually, you've got all of these and they are quite different. So obviously, if you want to have a look at them, the full details are in there. So you now know kind of what you can put into it, how it works. So I just want to show you a quick video because I'm running out of time. So just from that snippet, you can see that it's really engaging, and that guy's face is like, yes, I'm going to win. So it's quite cool, and obviously you can then create this, one company's created almost like a video game that you can compete against within that. So that again would be a crowd puller. So that's obviously how the activity works. So my main point really is that it's including everyone, it's a memorable and active way of using an activity within a conference really. So I hope you've all enjoyed it. I had an absolute blast kind of thinking about it and looking at it, and the creations of my smoothie.
I'm going to cut you off there, Aimee, I'm sorry. 7 minutes, that's it. That's all the time we get. But thank you, we're just about finished.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
What are the costs?
There are various costs. The ones that I've had a look into, you can either kind of dry hire the bike, so you literally get the bike and it's collection. A lot of them say collection only, that they don't seem to deliver it, and that starts from £70 per day. And then you can also kind of include a package. So that will be a smoothie bike attendant, the ingredients, and then the bike itself, and that ranges from about £300 a day. So it is quite a big difference. I feel probably the best way would probably to dry hire the bike and actually even bring, if you're going to have catering in a venue, whether it's done in-house or an external catering company, you perhaps would ask them to provide the ingredients, and then it's pretty self-explanatory as to how it kind of works. It's not
these bikes that you're hiring, they're already fixed up with these machines?
Yeah, so you can either get them at the front or the back. I personally think they're better at the front, because if you think about it from a visual point, you're physically pedalling away, looking at that and thinking, is it actually a smoothie yet? And you keep pedaling. If it's at the back, you've got no visual kind of impact of what it's doing. And I think in my personal view, it's a massive motivational pull to create your smoothie, really.
One more question?
Is this an idea, sorry, in terms of the video you've just shown us, is this an idea that you've actually seen in reality, or how did you come up with the idea, honing on this particular idea?
I saw the bikes and thought, that's pretty different. And I've only ever seen it in a university scenario. And the reason they did it was for, you know when you get like cycle days for charity?
Yeah.
They did it. And there was this crazy Chinese bloke, and he actually fell off the bike because he was pedaling so hard to get this smoothie to like become whatever he wanted it to become. And if it was more like juice than actually a smoothie. But I saw it and thought, well, that's pretty cool, but why can't you use that in events? Like, obviously I've been to conferences and some of them are pretty bland and boring. And you think, well, if you create or find an innovative idea and you put that in a boring situation, what's that situation going to end up as? And I personally think it would end up as it's really good. And yeah, I think it's pretty wacky, it's a bit different. Why not?
And what's the time frame for getting your completed smoothie?
It all depends on how fast you pedal. The slower you pedal,
Mine would take
average-
longer.
A minute?
You'd be about a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be 5.
if you were someone in a spinning class every day for 30 seconds, I don't know.
10.
It is. It depends how fast your legs go, unfortunately. I don't know the exact answer, but yeah.
Angie, thank you.